Listing on eBay is pretty straightforward when you're dealing with individual items, but what happens when you come across multiples of the same item, maybe different sizes or even different colorways? Well, if you're making individual listings, that can burn up a lot of your listings. And today I want to tell you about variation listings. That's going to save you a lot of that extra work, and that way you're only dealing with one listing. So I'm going to get to that here on the other side. So without any further ado, let's go.
The following program contains disturbing materials that may not be suitable for some resellers. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome back to the channel. This is John with Flippin' Ain't Easy, and I received a phone call today from a buddy I haven't talked to in a while, but he sells on eBay, and he comes across all kinds of cool stuff. And without giving away what he's selling, he has a particular clothing item where he has multiple sizes of. And he called me asking me, hey, how do I make one listing without, making multiple listings and, unnecessarily using up all my listings? And for me, that was quite simple because I use variation listings all the time, which achieves just that. It allows you to use one listing, and you can, for whatever type of item you're selling, maybe that item has different sizes. And so you can utilize it so that you're making one listing for all the different sizes that you have, or even colorways. You can utilize it that way. Now, I'm going to get in after I'm done showing you the basics on this. I'm going to go over at the end of the video on some things that I use it for that's kind of not within the scope of what eBay's telling you to use it for, but I've never had a listing removed or taken down, and it works very, very effectively. And it's going to be very controversial, so which is why we have the disclaimer before I jump back on here. Now, before I show you exactly how to set these up, you got to know you can't do this on the app. You have to do it on your PC or Mac on eBay.com. And I'm not going to really show you how to get to a new listing. You can either piggyback off of an existing listing for that same item, or you can start from scratch under sell an item. Now, once you get to the lister, here's what we do. Now, it's going to show that you can add your own photos. I wouldn't use that. In fact, when you're using variations, you do not use this upload your photos from here. You have to upload them somewhere else, and I'll show you that. Make sure your title is going to address common features of that item. You have like multiple sizes, multiple colorways. You don't want to put your sizes or your colorways here. Now, in this particular case, I put what it was and that I have women's, girls sizes. If you want to use all 80 characters, maybe you only use half because you don't have a whole lot to say in your title that is common to all the items. Maybe pick your size and color or whatever. I've done that with parts as well. Here's my common SKU. These are $5 each. It was my cost. Got women's and kids as far as the store category, and the item category. You want to make sure it's the proper category for what you're selling. Now, I don't go in right away and mess with the item specifics until I'm done with the variation side of things. So I'll leave that alone for now. I'll go down to where it says variations. Okay. And I'll click on that. Now, here's where you start. You want to go to your attributes. Now, think of your attributes as the drop-down menu. Each attribute is its own drop-down menu with options. So now it likes to default with MPN or model number. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to add my own. And in this case, I'm going to do, click add my own. I'm going to do color. You can do color, colorway, whatever. Don't need to put a colon there because it'll provide one for you. And then I'm going to do another attribute, which is size. They have one there. For me, they had one there. They might not have one for you. But when I click on size, for instance, it's going to populate various sizes. Now, maybe you're selling shirts and you're going to put extra large or whatever. You would just simply go in and put XL and then add under create your own. You see how it makes it? But I don't have that. I have a size 3 that's not here. So I'll put size 3 or put just the number 3. And then I had a size 4, a 7, and a size 11. That's what I had. Now, the colorways doesn't give me any colors, so I'm going to have to make my own. I had a green, add. I'm going to put peach because I had a peach. And the last colorway, it was called a burgundy blue, and I think that has a lot to do with the laces are burgundy and the skate was blue. And that's it. I have these sizes that are in gray, the 3, 4, 7, and 11, and I have burgundy blue, peach, and green. So that looks good. I'm going to hit update variations and allow eBay to set everything automatically update for you, your columns and everything. Now, the next step is your photos. Now, I like to use default photos that are common to all of the different items that are within this listing. And I have a photo that has a picture of all. These are stock photos. I actually put these 3 stock photos together to make one photo, and it gives the buyer an idea that I have these 3 different types of skates available. And then I also have a size chart. I like to put a size chart to give the buyer as much information as I can. Now, that's the default photos. Now, you see what happens in all the different sizes here. We have size 3 green. It's showing the common photo, but I don't want them to see that. I want them to see what the size, well, the actual green looks like. So it doesn't matter if it's a size 3 green or a size 11 green. It's going to be this pretty much the same looking skate. So I want to go by color, and I want to upload a photo for all my green skates. So in this case, I'm going to upload from the computer. You can do one at a time like that, right? Upload from computer, or you can just highlight all the ones you want to use and it'll bring them over like that. Now I would probably use more photos here, but for the sake of this exercise, I only pulled over 3 photos. So now I'm going to use peach, go to peach, and then I'm going to find all my peach ones. I only have 2 there, but I don't like the order that these are in, so I'm just going to drag that over and put that skate there. And then my burgundy blue, again, upload from computer, and then highlight those, and voila. Okay, now look what happened. My photos now show the right skate color for the proper colorway, regardless of the size. That's not important to me. Now, one thing you guys have to do, the SKUs have to be different. They must be different. Now, I don't know how you're going to organize these, where you're going to store them, but for the sake of the exercise, I'm just going to put a different value for each one of these size/colorways. Now, there's a different line for every color and size that I have in stock. Okay, now you can do it however you want. It could be based on the shelf where you're going to put it, the bin, but just for the sake of the exercise, I'm putting a different value here because I want this to work. If you don't have a different value, it's going to give you an error message. And in this case, you can either put the UPC number, or you can simply put does not apply. And I usually just go through and do copy and paste for do not apply. If you have the box, which we had the boxes for these, each colorway/size is going to have its own separate SKU, and you can either scan or type that SKU number in for each one. And then your price. So let's say $49.99. I think we started these at $44.99 plus shipping, and then our coupon, 10% coupon was in effect. But real quick, let's say, for the sake of this exercise, that I want to have different prices. So let's say my burgundy blues I'm going to make $44.99. So everything else is $49.99. I'll just do that. All my burgundy blues are going to be $44.99. Maybe I have access to more of them. Maybe I paid less for the burgundy blue model. And so for me, I can pass that on to the buyer, that savings onto the buyer, and try to get these things out of here. So $44.99 on the burgundy blue. And also, what I failed to do is maybe we have 3 of the greens, maybe we only have 2 of the peaches, and maybe we have 5 of the burgundy blue, which is why we're able to offer such a discount. And maybe we have that for each colorway, right? So just really depends. You might have a wide array of different sizes and colorways, and what, how many you have in each one might be different. So just make sure that matches. This is probably the most important thing, because if you put the wrong value here, I just sorted that by quantity here, but if you put the wrong value here, you're going to have some inventory issues, and you're going to run into defects. So now click on Save and Close. It's going to go through this whole thing for you, checking it for you, and no errors. Didn't give me an error message, so that's good. And then I'm going to go through, and I think I want to go back up here, put my item specifics. This was roller derby model. Does not apply because I just don't have it on hand. Again, I don't know the MPN. You'd put one there if you had it. These are made in China, and there's really no other ones to select. I don't like messing with the California prop, whatever. It's not important to me. And go down to your template. Now, you can use whatever you want. I put new pair in original retail box sealed, but I would say you probably want to put more than that. Maybe even have the AI go in and you make a description for you at the very least, okay? But that's what we'll do here. Again, the price, it doesn't give you the option to set the price because you've done that already. And main shipping, free ship, I generally wouldn't do that. I'd probably go in and do ground advantage calculated, and 5 pounds, 10 by 8 by 7 box. Buyer pays for returns, and in this case 6.1%. And then I will list it, even though I don't have these skates. So for the video, for the sake of the video, I will list it because I want to show you what this looks like. So when the buyer first opens up your listing, they're going to see your default photos. Those are the photos at the top, and the top two apply to all of my items. And now they go over to the drop down. So maybe they want a size 7. Okay, and then now size 7, oh, I want burgundy blue. It's going to show them the burgundy blue. But maybe they want to see what the green looks like. So they click on the green, and here it comes. Now, they go to size 3. Generally, the photo is going to stay the same. Nothing's going to change because you have your photo set by colorway, which is what I would recommend for most clothing sellers or shoe sellers. So then there's peach right there too. And then as they go through it, it's going to show everything that I included, which is not all that important. But again, it's already using my coupon code to give them a heck of a discount. So I need to get in here and cancel this listing. But that's how you do it, guys. That's really straightforward. There's nothing really challenging about it. It's different. It's going to really maybe slow you down a little bit. But if you have, say, 20, 30 items that you would have had to make 20, 30 listings for, you should expect a variation listing is going to slow you down a little bit. But at the end of the day, what happens is, and what's cool about a variation listing is, as you start to sell these items in your listing, it's going to boost that listing because you have previous solds underneath that listing, and that's good for the algorithm. One thing that you need to remember, and this is very important, is if you like to do sell similar like I do, you cannot do that for variation listings, because if you have, let's say, maybe you sold out on all the reds, but you still have greens, and you're just trying to do a sell similar to kind of artificially boost the listing, well, it's going to restock your reds, even though you've already sold out on those. So it's going to replenish your stock, and you don't want that. It's going to cause a defect nightmare for you. So as a general rule, these are the listings that I do not touch when it comes to sell similar or end and relist. I allow those to automatically recycle at the end of the 30-day period because, again, you're dealing with the situation where you're going to have a logistical nightmare when you go to search for that pair of roller skates and you can't find it. It's going to be because you did not follow that advice and you relisted it or sold similar. So don't do that, guys. Now, this is where it can get a little bit controversial. I've used this in the past. Now, don't shoot me. This is what I've done, and this is what other sellers have done, and this is what I have seen success with. Now, on my secondary account, I do use it for parts. So, like on a vacuum cleaner, I'll part the whole thing out, and all the various parts I'll put within the listing. Under one attribute, I'll just put part, and I'll do a list of different parts that I have for sale and price them based on what other sellers have sold those parts individually for. And that's worked for me. And, it's kind of controversial. eBay doesn't really come out and say, no, you can't do this in their policy. But the idea is that it's really meant for, one common item that has multiple attributes like size and colorway. Not really meant for parts. And I've used it for LPs. So like if I have a batch of country albums, and I've done this before, I had a batch of country albums, put them in a crate, made a nice little 30-second video showing me going through all the records, and then showing as many within 24 photos, as many of the key records within that list, and then setting it up as album, just putting album as the attribute and all the different album names. I think you get like 30 characters to use in your each of the options that you're setting up. And it worked. It did really well for those. And that's an idea you can utilize. So there's sellers that are currently doing that right now as we speak with albums. If you don't believe me, go look it up. And that's controversial because, a lot of folks will say, you can't use variations for that. But I have not seen a listing taken down because of it. So, don't get on me if you get one taken down, if you decide to utilize it for something other than like colorways or different sizes. But I can tell you it is a strategy. It's one of those hacks within eBay that allows you to me, it's more about, not so much about saving the number of listings that I'm using. Like, I got 200 items and I'm going to save 200 listings with just putting them all in one listing. Because I always have extra listings at the end of the month because of the size of my store. I have a 1,000 item store and I only have 200 items in my main store. To me, it's more about, I don't like using the out of stock option because if I have 200 items that I've sold and I have no longer in stock, I really don't want that clogging up my active space when I'm looking through my listings. So this does help me alleviate that problem because now I can go in, as long as I have one item within that variation listing that's still available for sale. If I get more of the same, I can go back in and go back into edit my variations the same way you went to set it up, and I can go and add the quantity. I can add more colorways, more sizes, and I don't have to recreate the listing again. It's all there. So that is a really huge thing as well, especially if you're going to continually get that item in stock. It's a good thing to have. So these are some things to consider. Maybe it's not for you, but there's a number of sellers out there who are putting in a lot of extra work, making extra listings instead of, wow, I have all these hats that are the same color, the same make, and maybe they're just different sizes. And maybe instead of making multiple listings, variation listings are going to be the way to go. And it's something I would definitely look into. Work smarter, not harder. And figuring out when you should use variations is yet another example of how flipping ain't easy. And I want you guys to have an excellent rest of your day, and we will talk to you very soon.
Chargebacks, returns, and lowball offers too. Vero takedowns, they're a pain, what can we do? High selling fees, bad buys, and rude buyers galore. Flipping ain't easy, but we keep coming back for more. All resellers are gonna make mistakes. Learn from them, and you'll have what it takes. In the world of reselling, we're your guide. When flipping ain't easy, by your side. Sourcing great items is the key to success. Subscribe to the channel and stand above the rest. Focus on the thing that's within your control. Hang with flipping ain't easy. Let's roll. Catch the live streams on Mondays and Fridays. Join the Discord community for the parlays. Tune into the podcast Profit Playbooks. The name with Scott and Josh. Flipping's more than a game. Chargebacks, returns, and lowball offers too. A Firo takedowns, they're a pain, what can we do? High selling fees, bad buys, and rude buyers galore. Flipping ain't easy, but we keep coming back for more. Oh, all resellers are gonna make mistakes. Learn from them, and you'll have what it takes. In the world of reselling, we're your guide. Flipping ain't easy, but by your side. Sourcing great items is the key to success. Subscribe to the channel and stand above the rest. Focus on the thing that's within your control. Hang with flipping ain't easy. Let's roll. Catch the live streams on Mondays and Fridays. Join the Discord community for the parlays. Tune into the podcast Profit Playbooks, the name. With Scott and Josh, flipping's more than a game. Catch the live streams on Mondays and Fridays. Join the Discord community for the parlays. Tune into the podcast Profit Playbooks, the name. With Scott and Josh, flipping's more than a game.